over the mid to long term, the Chinese leadership seeks to have China become the strongest power in the Indo-Pacific. So you see, particularly over the last 10, 12 years, this very aggressive move, illegal in the Spratlys and Paracels, to militarize islands that are claimed in some respects by 5 other claimants in the region, to see the constant presence of Chinese naval and air forces in the Senkakus, and to see the pressure that the PLA has put on our ally, the Philippines. So important to note here that the United States has a mutual defense treaty with the Philippines dating back to 1951, and Article 4 of that treaty confers on both countries the responsibility to protect each other. We have said publicly, when Secretary Blinken was in China with us last month, President Biden has said that Article 4 of that treaty is in effect, i.e., don't cross that line. The United States has treaty responsibilities. President Obama, President Biden, I believe President Trump too, also articulated that in the Senkakus, the United States has a treaty obligation to Japan. And so there have to be boundaries to Chinese behavior, but it's been very aggressive, Orville. Those are just 2 examples. I give you a third, which doesn't involve a treaty commitment per se, but it is the pernicious activities of Chinese companies that have exported to the Russian defense industrial base components, technology components, critical materials in a major way that has strengthened the ability of President Putin to prosecute this terrible war in Ukraine. We have just sanctioned 21 Chinese companies because they've transgressed American law that prohibits that. But we believe, as Secretary Blinken said when he came to China, and he said this publicly, that the activities of the Chinese government allowing this to happen have strengthened the Russian industrial base significantly over the last 2 years. And we've called on the government of China to stop Chinese firms from providing this material. They have not done so. That is a real problem in our relationship, and it kind of completes my answer to your question. The answer from the European countries, our allies in NATO, to the Chinese has been remarkable to see. You and I have both observed Europe's strategic view of China over, say, 3 or 4 decades. Both NATO and the EU have now branded China a strategic rival because China is supporting Russia on an issue that it's existential for Europe. It's this brutal division by Putin of the continent of Europe and this attack on a member state of the United Nations, Ukraine. So the Chinese don't appear to really understand. I don't think they really grasped what they were doing in aiding Russia, that it would have this very profoundly negative impact on their relationship with Europe and with us.